ESPN has been releasing their top 10 rankings of each position group in the league, and it's based on a mix of scouts and NFL executives. So this isn't ESPN's rankings. They're just the ones who did the research and put it all together. So today we wanted to get into the running backs one. I'm going to be straight up honest. Like, I don't agree with it, at least for one spot. So we'll give you a quick rundown real quick. It's Derrick Henry at 1, Jonathan Taylor at 2, Nick Chubb at 3, Dalvin Cook at 4, Alvin Kamara at 5, Joe Mixon at 6, Christian McCaffrey at 7, Najee Harris at 8, Aaron Jones at 9, and Javonte Williams at 10. The honorable mentions are Austin Eckler, Zeke Elliott, and Saquon Barkley. Not a terrible list, in my opinion, except to me, Nick Chubb's the number one running back in football, in my opinion. I don't care how much ESPN and all these people like to play up Jonathan Taylor and especially Derrick Henry. To me, Jonathan Taylor should be one over Derrick Henry if it's not Chubb. Derrick Henry is just a super big guy who every once in a while pushes people over. And he gets to play against the Jaguars twice a year and the Texans twice a year, where he gets to run for 200 yards in each one of those games. Yeah. So Nick Chubb is better than Derrick Henry at literally everything.
And Nick Chubb could be a 3-down back if he had to be.
Right. Correct.
He can be a pass catcher. He just doesn't need to be.
Correct. We have Kareem Hunt.
But, I mean, remember that one game he caught a touchdown pass? He caught the ball in the back of a defender.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, he can catch the ball.
This is not pretend like Derrick Henry's out here running routes out of the slot.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, don't tell me it's versatility. Nick Chubb is better in yards after contact, better in yards per carry, better in broken tackles, better in forced missed tackles, more runs of 20-plus yards. He's literally number one in basically every category outside of attempts and yards. But if he got the attempts, his yards per carry, he would have the yards.
Right, but his efficiency is so high.
Yes, he's it said some NFL executives picked him to be number one, just not enough. I just think, like, because Derrick Henry's so big, people just slob on him, and it just drives me nuts. Like, that's the nicest way I could say that. And Jonathan Taylor's done it for 1 year, and it was a good year, but to me, it's another thing. It's a volume. If you get the ball 30, 40 times every time, Nick Chubb, to me, is the best pure runner of the football in the league.
Taylor's yards per carry were up there with Chubb's though last year, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Taylor had a nice.
You almost had to put him over. Year. But if you're making this list based on last year, I can see Taylor at like number 1.
Correct.
But then you see CMC's on that list, and he has barely played in the last 2 years.
He's at 7. I do think it's crazy that 3 of the AFC North teams have people in the top 10.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Do you think Najee's too high?
I think Najee, it's just so hard to tell because he was such a high volume guy.
His line was terrible.
His line was terrible, and he still made it happen. I think Najee has a skill set. I mean, watching him at Alabama, I was like, this guy is going to be fun to watch in the pros.
I think he's crazy good too. I just didn't know if he deserved to. If his yards per carry and stuff, I don't think were that great last year. But their offensive game plan was like just throwing the ball for 2 yards at a time, and his line was awful. So I think talent-wise, he definitely deserves to be in there. I don't see Lamar Jackson anywhere, which is weird.
So the Ravens don't have a running back.
Yeah, the Ravens don't have a running back on here. But no, I think honestly, if you slid Nick Chubb up to like 1 and then just dropped Henry, well, I would flop Henry and Taylor because in my opinion, like Derrick Henry, I'd put him like 3rd or 4th. Dalvin Cook might be. I don't want to sound like a Derrick Henry hater, but.
So
he's just a super big. He's just incredibly big and fast.
He does one thing really well.
Here's the thing, though. Like until he was on pace he was gonna have like a 1,900 yard season last year.
Yeah.
So I'm not even like. Here's the thing: if Nick Chubb, like you said, if he gets that volume like that, Taylor and Derrick Henry get, of course, I think that he would be higher up this list. Probably 1. I feel like I'm a homer on this one because Nick Chubb's my guy, but. My thing, Derrick Henry was on pace to have a historic season, and he's been doing it for years. So I'm okay with him at 1. Taylor, like you said, he had one nice season. Okay, that's fine. I'd probably put him at 2, maybe even 3, depending on, what you do with Nick Chubb. My thing, you have Javonte Williams at 10, which, don't get me wrong, flashes. I see I think he's going to be explosive. I think he's going to be great. But you have Austin Eckler out of the top 10, and
he's done it.
And he's been doing it.
Yeah.
You know, so to me, I don't know.
I didn't understand that one
I
either.
would have bumped him in. And, you know, the thing with all these lists is, you know, it's like, well, is this based on their career? Is this based on what they did last year? Because the quarterback one, there's like some serious head scratchers on there.
Like Dak at 10.
I wouldn't, you know, there's a couple like Dak at 10, that's fair if you want to do that. But like if it's based on last year, Deshaun Watson's at 9. And I think if it's based on what you've done for your career and what you've seen from Deshaun Watson, when Deshaun Watson stepped out, he was a top 5 quarterback. So like to me, I'm like, I don't know. Some of these lists are kind of.
Yeah, and John, you made a good point too about it. It can't be based on last year because CMC hasn't played much.
Right.
A couple games in the last
2
years.
right?
So.
Yeah,
2 games.
looking at the list, it's hard to know like what they were thinking when they made it.
Yeah.
I think if you made this list like 3 or 4 years ago, CMC was 1.
Right.
That's
Absolutely.
only one, but if you're making it
Absolutely.
on talent, I agree with you that, I mean, Nick Chubb, the thing is, like, the first game he ever really broke out was.
Didn't he have like 3 carries for
3
like 100
carries?
yards or
Yeah,
something?
90
it was like almost
92.
200.
Oh,
wasn't it? Almost, I thought it was like
wow.
190.
Yeah, because he had
Oh.
like 2 like 70-some yard runs.
Yeah, and 2
The Raiders
touchdowns.
game, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 carries, and he had almost 200 yards and 2 touchdowns, I think it was.
said-
It was like,
And Hugh Jackson was so
Didn't want-
stupid, he still wouldn't play him.
he's like, get
We had to
Carlos back
we
in
had to
there.
trade
we had
Carlos
to trade
Hyde out.
Carlos Hyde. It was like Moneyball when Brad Pitt trades everybody to make the guy play him.
Yeah.
So
If every
Philip
running
Seymour
back got
Hoffman
the
will play
same
him.
workload, Chubb would have at least 3 rushing titles already.
So
I agree with that.
Oh my God, he should have won it at Freddie's here, and Freddie quit giving him the ball.
Yep, that's
I
true.
was at that game.
Yeah, I mean Freddie quit. That
Cincinnati.
it was the opposite. It was him and Henry going for the rushing title, and the Titans just started giving Derrick Henry the ball like 50 times, and Chubb was getting like 8 carries.
Yeah, never
That's
played
like
in the
the
second
one
half.
good
It's
thing
like-
that could have come out of that season. Like we were already mathematically eliminated. Just let the dude get the rushing title.
Yeah.
I know Chubb doesn't care about that kind of stuff. He's way too humble for that, but still.
It's a fan thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So last year, Derrick Henry's yards per carry went down to 4.3, and they said this is because his totals dipped because of sluggish last 2 games before the foot injury. But it says through the first 6 games, he's 783 yards on 162 carries, produced a 4.8 yard average. That's still lower than Nick Chubb. Nick Chubb's yard per average is 5.6 and 5.5, almost a yard more. 3 yards per rush after contact led the league for players with at least 120 attempts. He broke off a run of at least 70 yards for the 3rd time in 4 years.
And a lot of these guys, you hear them talk about, like, what's a good, yards per carry for a running back in the NFL? Around 4. That usually, that'd be a good average. He's averaging over 5.
Yep.
Between 5 and 6.
And Ben.
Yeah, Ben, yeah.
For years now.
So to me, it's Nick Chubb all day. If I'm picking, you can go ahead, take all these people. I'm taking Nick Chubb every time.
Yep.
I got just one last question for you guys. Based on a guy that's on the outside looking in, there's 2 guys that one of them I think is for sure done, but do you guys think Ezekiel Elliott is done?
Like,
Do you think he's on the back half where we've seen the best that he's going to deliver?
So-
I think we've seen the best.
early, we saw last year, like early, they were talking about how he was back, and then he got hurt again.
Yeah.
And it's like, can he stay healthy? I want to see him play healthy when he's in the best shape of his life and see what it looks like. But when you watch him and then you watch Tony Pollard looks faster and
There's
more
a big
explosive,
difference.
which is crazy because, I mean, Zeke's one of my favorite running backs of all
He
time.
was when he was at his best, he was so good.
Yep.
So good.
Oh, my God. One of my favorite Buckeye players. I mean,
Absolutely.
I loved watching him even in Dallas, and I don't like Dallas.
Yeah.
That's why Derrick Henry's like an anomaly, because Zeke got the heavy workload from day one in the NFL, and it was just carry, and you see it catching up to him. Now, true though, Derrick Henry did have 2 years where he wasn't the guy. It was DeMarco Murray.
Yeah, he's splitting carries.
Yeah,
and stuff.
so I mean, he did have a little buffer there, but
But yeah, let us know what you guys think. I know all Browns fans are going to say Nick Chubb, and fans of every other team are going to say it's Derrick Henry and Jonathan Taylor easily because they saw it on ESPN, but we don't care.
What's going on, Browns fans? The action never ends at DraftKings Sportsbook, especially this summer. With tons of ways to bet on all your favorite sports, you can fuel your fandom and feel the heat of the season like never before. Plus, right now, DraftKings Sportsbook is giving new customers a risk-free bet up to $1,000. It's a lot of dough. That's right. Make your first bet up to $1,000, and if it doesn't win, you'll get another shot to cash in. You can throw down on all the major action on baseball, golf, MMA, and more. Plus, with same-game parlays, spreads, money lines, over-unders, and props, your betting options never feel endless. Best of all, DraftKings is safe, secure, and reliable. You can deposit and withdraw your cash whenever you want. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use promo code TPPN. Make your first deposit and get a risk-free bet up to $1,000. That's promo code TPPN only at DraftKings Sportsbook. Look forward to betting with you soon, and minimum age and eligibility restrictions apply. See show notes for details. God bless.